What is going on, everyone? It is Core here. I want to do a live stream. Before I get started, I want to make sure that my audio is working. So I'm going to wait till my iPad picks up that I actually started this live stream and starts actually showing me, which it's not doing. Huh. Let me refresh it. One thing I noticed is that YouTube is now detecting ad blockers, at least in the Brave browser, whatever is built in. And it's giving you a notification that you can only watch 3 videos before they stop allowing you to watch anything. Which is, see, now it's telling me that I can't watch anything because I have ad blocker on. Okay, hold on. I want to make sure that everyone can hear me. Well, someone in here can let me know that. Test. Someone. Yep. Okay. Okay. Let me know that. Okay, we're good. It's also something really weird going on with YouTube. I can't save any settings at all. I tried. What's up, Branches? I tried editing a thumbnail through. First of all, I tried doing this through YouTube's Live itself. Would not work. It would not save my settings on my computer. I tried because I use the Brave browser. I tried in Safari. I had the same problem. It just sits there and this with a line just keeps going and going, and it never saves anything. So then I went into StreamYards and created it through StreamYards, which worked, but I still wanted to edit a thumbnail and put some tags on it. I tried doing it through the live interface, and I tried doing it through the YouTube Studio interface by just editing the video itself. Still does not work. It just sits there and saves. And I did that on my iPad. I did it in Safari on my Mac, and I did it in Brave on my Mac. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I don't know if it's just me. It could just be me. It's not cooperating whatsoever right now. But what else is new? They're trying to not allow us to watch videos with ad blockers because they want to get their revenue. Because Google is an ad company. That's all they are. You ain't making them money, they don't care about you. And they still don't care about you because their support is garbage. In all ways. I use Google, their workspace for business. The management for that and getting support for that, because we have many clients that are on that platform, is garbage. Absolutely garbage. Their support is garbage. And these are paying customers that are paying for their services that they create for productivity, and getting support for this, you have to go through their support portal. There's no phone number to call. You can't talk to anyone. It's terrible. And their response is garbage. Which is interesting because compared to Microsoft, it's night and day. Using the Microsoft 365 platform, so we have clients on that as well. Support is great. You can just pick up the phone and call them. Put a ticket in, they'll call you back. Not Google. Google does not have good support across the board. They never have because they don't care. Clearly. Maybe with AI, though. Maybe AI will fix it for them. Maybe Bard is the answer. Okay. Let me stop this over here. This clearly is not going to actually save. Close that out. Close this. Close that. Okay. So I want to go over a couple words with everyone, and they ironically are Heath and Ledger, which most people know Heath Ledger as the actor that plays the Joker in The Dark Knight. And what even prompted me to look into this was what was going on in Ecuador, which we'll start there. Let me share my screen. Or is going on in Ecuador, I should say. There we go. Let me zoom this in. What button is it on? Update. Where is my Zoom? There it is. I need to figure out what the keyboard shortcut is on Macs to do that. Okay. I want this centered. Yeah. It's alright. I'll zoom in more. I'll go to 200. So I was reading this article, and in Ecuador, a gang leader, most wanted criminal, escaped from prison. And he's the leader of a notorious gang in Ecuador. And he disappeared. They have no idea where this guy is. As far as I know, they still don't. They announced a state of emergency. I think it was going to last 60 days when this happened. And the first thing I think of is The Dark Knight. That's what happens with the Joker. And it creates all types of riot and outrage because the civilians apparently are already what's up, K-Kaz? I'm not sure who that is. I think I probably do know who that is. It's just a different name. A bunch of riots broke out because there's already civilian unrest due to the current economy and financial conditions in Ecuador, which is happening in many, many, many countries right now, because financial systems being flipped, which we will somewhat touch on here, but this all plays into it. And 60-day state of emergency, which entails nightly curfews and suspension of the right to assembly. So they're suspending rights at this point because they enacted a state of emergency. And this article is from January 8th, but it was updated on January 11th and 20. And there have also been ambushings of TV stations, broadcast stations taking over the airwaves, doing some dastardly, grotesque things on the air, which I will not get into. You can look more into it if you want. The point is, something apparently was going on in Ecuador, and it's very synonymous to the Dark Knight. This is not the first time that something in the news has pulled from the Dark Knight. Remember during COVID, was it New York, I believe? I think Chicago was actually going to do something similar too. New York was closing downtown area down. They're putting all the bridges up, so you couldn't get in there. I think they actually were doing that. I know they talked about it for sure. I'm pretty sure they did do that because it was a state of emergency, which that's been done in many things. Blocking off the major city and locking everyone in. Lockdown. And this guy's name is Fight, which I also find hilarious. And since this was written, they don't know where it was. So that's what prompted me to look into, or it didn't prompt me. I realized when I was thinking about The Dark Knight and Joker that his name is Heath Ledger. And I realized his last name is Ledger. And I know all about Ledger and what that is. And I thought it was interesting that it was combined with the word Heath. And so I did some research, and we'll use Edamon online to quickly show this, though you can also just go to root words and look into the actual straight origins yourself of words and the meanings of the different parts of them. But we'll start with we'll use this to simplify it. Let me zoom in here. Where's the shortcut? Does it tell me here? No. Too far. Okay. So a heath, which we can think of heathen, which most people probably know what heathen is. Hey, Brian Zahn. Or at least have an idea what a heathen is. Heath is wasteland. It's something that has not been industrialized. It's nature in its form. It's a forest, uncultivated. It hasn't been built upon yet. It's left in its natural state, which who makes this language decides that is synonymous with a wasteland, apparently. If something's in its natural state and it's uncultivated. Because cultivation is to be cultured. So it's not cultured. It's, even says right here, forest. Because of all of these things that it comes from. Cultured is to be a part of something or to be in a cult. Cultured. It's the movement of the cult. It's the actual community of a cult and what it's made of and the ideologies, beliefs, and knowledge that they share within it and without it. And that's what the Joker's the actor is where we're acting. This is all about acting in Hollywood. That's what the name of this actor is, Heath Ledger. Ledger. And when most people think of a ledger, they're going to simply think of accounting and documenting something, banking, keeping track of a record of something is what most people are going to think of a ledger. But this word is much more deceptive than that. It's really black magic is what's going on here. It's this is one of those words that you really have to know what it means to understand and understand why it's used and its purpose, and why ledgers are used in the banking system. And counting, a count, to count something, to keep track of something. Count Dracula. Stealing your energy, sucking your blood out. Energy and vampiric energy. Suckers. They're energy vampires. So let me get a drink. A ledger, a book that lies permanently in some specified place. Permanent means that it doesn't move. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the book, but it usually does, because the ledger would usually lie with the business that it's associated with, and it would always be associated with that business. And when it comes to banking and accounting, there would be two ledgers, because each entity would have their own ledger, and this would be dual entry accounting. And it would be written on both sides of it. So you can verify on both sides if this information is correct. And what is that? Why is that done? Why do banks and business in general use ledgers to document? Document. Ment is mind, to dock your mind, to dock it. So it is to place or to lay that which has been. Ledger is something that has been, and you lay it down on a piece of paper, or now a lot of it is digital because of blockchain. And I'm sure it was even digital before then, but blockchain is all digital. In the commercial sense, the book of accounts. Book of accounts. So it's a book of counting. What the ongoings are, what the happenings are. It is permanent and it is stationary. It is not meant to ever change. It is recording what has occurred. Compare ledger bait Fishing bait made to stay in one place. Interesting. So this word means that something that is stationary. It is permanent and it is not moving. It is also a surname from Saint Ledger, and it means people spear in Germanic. Leodigar, people spear. Place. This ain't betting. This is uh, much more. The outcome's already done. Now we're making sure that this type of circumstance happenings continue on into the future. That is why all of this is recorded and written down. That's why bureaucracy is what it is. It is all recorded. It is all written down. That's why they want to document absolutely everything relating to you so that they can control you from the past. This is black magic. Control you from the shadow, from something that's not there. But when you're ignorant to what is going on and even the words that are being used, you get spellbound. And it's very easy then to then manipulate and move and prod you into different scenarios that we should never be in. We truly are not we are not limited by what is written down. We can do anything. What is written down is only what is accounted for is only going to be what the entity that is doing the accounts wants to account for. They're not going to account for anything else. Like even Google. If they don't like what content you're making, if it doesn't align with their terms of service, which is way even outside the lines that they should be operating in within, at least here in America, they should be operating by the very least the Constitution that they have signed upon, since they are a incorporated entity in probably California. I'm not 100% sure where Google and or Alphabet is incorporated, what state, but that state is incorporated to the United States of America, which has a constitution that is supposed to guide the states and the businesses that are incorporated to that state. And any policy that is made within the state and or even federal United States codes and or policies and terms of services that are created by corporations, it should all align with the original document that was created that all of these entities are signed up to uphold. It doesn't. It doesn't. And the reason they do that is because no one holds them accountable. Because no one holds them accountable, they're able to account for whatever they want. If they don't want you to have something, they don't want something recorded, like maybe this recording will be, I maybe have said something that's too far, or I used the wrong words, because their AI is very, very bad at determining what is and isn't breaking their terms of service. but they'll take it down. They'll strike me, copyright, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. So the other thing we gotta get into at Ledger is it is to place or to lay something, to lie. It's to lie, to lay down. To lie down, to lay. Right here. Ledger. Ledger. And to lie is nothing more than to tell a story. That's all it is. A lie is a story. A story can be something, it can be anything. It could be something that seemingly actually happened, because it's past tense, so there's no way to truly prove that it happened. Well, we can record it on video, and we can take pictures and audio and play it back, and this is proof. No, it's not. Unless it's going on right here in the moment, we don't know that it's actually occurring. That's how life actually is. That's how life actually works. But in this reality that has been created, it's all about stories. It's all about threads and lies, and continuing the lie and getting you to believe the lie or the story that is being told. And this is truly why they are using ledgers to record all of this. It creates generational deprivation. It keeps you and your kin poor, or with a lack of. They're literally writing that down as your story. And unless you can change your story because you know what's going on and you know how to facilitate that change and movement into another reality, because we can create our own realities. We don't have to exist in this lie or the story that is being told. We can even utilize the story for our advantage once we realize that this is a story and we are truly the author or the authenticator. We are the authority. We are the true creator of the story. They are just writing it down how they want to control those reins from the back. And then they'll let you go a little bit this way, a little bit that way. As long as you stay within bounds of what they can control, they'll let you go this way and that way. They'll let you have some seemingly freedom, we'll say, to appease your mind, which truly is unbound. It's not even here. Where is your mind? It does not exist in reality. The mind exists in a space of its own. And the only way they can control that space, the mind, the mental state and imposition that it is in, is through black magic. It's through a ledger. It's through documentation. It's through making you think that you are something that you're not, through writing things down and handing them to you and letting you believe it on your own. The amount of influencers that there are now is absurd. Absolutely absurd. The amount of blogs and repetition and parroting and just plain copying of information on the internet is absurd. And these algorithms make sure that you don't see that there's thousands of sources that are saying the same regurgitated bullshit. You only see a couple of them. You only see one of them. And that's the one that they feel you're going to link up to and that you're going to catch on to and ride along with that. The social media has desensitized many people to what is actually going on behind the scenes with this technology. This technology has been using supercomputers and AI and algorithms to do all of this stuff for a very long time. This is not new technology that is coming out, all of this AI stuff. It's been in the background. That is the purpose of Google. It is an ad company, advertise, to advertisement. Advertise, advert the mind, bring it in a certain direction so they can grab your energy. And they do it by money, is one of the main ways they do it. Also by attention. But your attention isn't enough because they know they can also get money from you, that you're going out and literally putting yourself to do something to get that money, which is nothing more than you expending energy and getting energy back in return in a different form. And then they know they can get that from you because people are so diluted and delusional to what is going on here. They've fallen for the lie and they are just lying down and letting it all occur around them. It's a loop. It's crazy. It's insanity. It's a joke. It is plainly a joke. And the Joker is Heath Ledger. Heath, a wasteland. Ledger, a lie, a story. Something that is permanent, documented. A permanent wasteland or a permanent uncultivation, which means that now you can always be given something because you haven't created your own culture. You haven't cultivated yourself. This culture is not a good or a bad thing. There's nothing good or bad. Ledgers aren't good or bad. We can use it for ourselves. We can do the same exact thing. We can start documenting everything for ourselves and realize for ourselves. Just like people do dream journals. So they can see what they're dreaming, which is happening in the past at that point. And then you can go back and see what you were dreaming about, and you can use that to change and rearrange what you're doing at the present moment. Even just writing a journal down of how you feel. It's the same thing. We can do this for ourselves. People do not, for the most part, anymore, because it is being done for us through these social media platforms, through bank accounts, through identifications, documentation of all sorts, through a Google account, through your IP address, through cookies on your computer, anything and everything that can tie you to what you are doing or what is occurring is used against you. Because you're not doing it for yourself. And there's things going on behind the scenes that are utilizing these instruments to manipulate your mentality, which in turn manipulates your actions. And when you are not aware that this is going on, they have control of you. They absolutely have control of you. Because if you do not control yourself, you will be controlled by something, and you will not know that you are being controlled by something. Because they operate in the shadows. Do you think that AI, the takeover of AI, would that ever be something that is known? No. No. If AI took over, which who's to say it hasn't, it would just be something in the background that has already occurred, and no one would know. I won't get into that here, but no one would know. And there's no way to say that it hasn't occurred. So, with the idea of a ledger, we are now moving from double entry accounting to triple entry accounting, which Larry Fink, the head of BlackRock, he used to be against cryptocurrency in the blockchain. Wow. They just released their ETF for Bitcoin, and he's all for cryptocurrency now. He likes the idea of that blockchain. So do they all. They all do. They all want the blockchain. They don't care about cryptocurrency necessarily. Cryptocurrency is a means to bring in the blockchain technology. That's truly what is going on here. Because the blockchain technology is the next level of this magicianry, of this magical state that we exist within. And let me zoom in here. So a blockchain is a distributed database, which that's all a ledger is a database on paper. Most databases nowadays would be digital. It's just something that stores data on a spreadsheet, usually in spreadsheet form, in columns and rows, and organizes it. And then you can take that data and do a lot of things with it. A lot of things. So it's all categorized. It's all organized. And now you can create tools on top of that to take that organized data and show you the ad that they know you want, that you don't even know you want. They know you want it. Give you that one video, or that even that book, just to keep you attracted to the system that has been created. And the blockchain is the next level of that. And the idea of the blockchain is that it's decentralized, which isn't necessarily true when you have validators and when you have specific entities that are operating these large or these validators that are only handed out to specific entities. It's not really decentralized. Or when an entity ends up with a large chunk of the cryptocurrency or coin that is the reward system on the blockchain, or owns, for proof of work, most of the mining power. a certain company owns most of the mining power, is no longer really decentralized. If it's a proof of stake, if there's a corporation which would fall in line with them owning most of the coin that exists, if they have most of that staked into the blockchain, they run it. Because even governance is built on, for most cryptocurrencies, is built on the amount of that coin or token that you actually have. Because it's supposed to be decentralized governance as well. So anyone that has that coin or token can have a say in what's going on, though you have more say if you have more of it, usually. And when an entity owns majority, which majority may only be 30%, the rest of it may be distributed out. The next closest one might only be 10%. Next closest one might be, after that, might be 5%, and it might fall down from there, 0.0001%. But when a corporation has that large of a share of something, they own it. It's no different than any other market. If an entity has that large of a share of any part of the operation of how this blockchain is being ran, and their consensus their consensus, which would be proof of work or proof of stake, and there's other ones. They own it. If any of them own most of the coin, they own it. So it is by theory decentralized, but when you live in a capitalistic society that already is very centralized, with less than 1% having the wide majority of the wealth, and we'll say it, the Vatican has most of that currency in their accounts. Mm-hmm. Well, back to the ledgers and accounting and records. This is also why the churches hold on to records. This is why they started baptisms, and this is why they wanted all the records and started recording everything for the indigenous beings of all the lands. They knew what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were doing from the beginning, and it was always black magic. That is what all these rituals are. That is what the Vatican is. That's the only thing they do. It's a bunch of rituals. And they hold so many records that will never see the light of day. Well, I shouldn't say never. At this point, they have not seen the light of day. Because I don't want them to. Because if people were able to go back through the records and see everything, they wake up. They realize that they've been in a dream. They've been in a story this whole time that's been cultivated around them. And life is not what they were taught it is, and there's no such thing as death. That what is really going on here is not what is being taught to us. It's so much more. And it's so much simpler. The idea of the blockchain is that it is immutable. That's the whole idea of the blockchain. It's immutable. And all, as it says here, blockchain can be used to make data in any industry immutable. Blockchain is going to be used in all industries, all of them. it's already being implemented. Even governments are already using it. Oh, you know what? One thing I want to go back to Ecuador. Ecuador is named Ecuador because it is on the equator. Ecuador, equator. The equator is the median or the balance of this plane. It is a highly biodiversified region that is where the most different plant species and animal life grow, and it has the perfect climate and temperature all the time, unless it's being manipulated, to sustain life always. It's the balance. And it has the most life, density-wise. And I wanted to point that out because these riots and taking over of the airwaves and the news stations and the leader of a notorious gang breaking out is occurring on the equator. This state of emergency is occurring on the balance of this plane. Why would they do that? To create unbalance. Because if you can unbalance the balance point of something, it all falls apart. It all spirals out of control. It's no longer spiraling. It's all over the place. It's a bunch of squigglies now. A bunch of loops. It has no idea where it's going. It's like take a ball and spin it on your finger and just wait. Because that balance at some point is going to stop due to the friction, and it's going to start to wobble, and it's going to fall off. It's going to be off its axis. It's not going to be accessible. Why? Because it is now out of balance. When we are out of balance, we cannot access our full potential, or what we truly are, how we truly exist. When we are off balance, we need to balance ourselves out, however that may be. That's different for all types of people, but it's figuring that out. And people are gonna think I was doing. I just realized I was wiping my left eye. People are thinking I was doing something. It's figuring out that balance for ourselves so that we can then reach our full potential, which is infinite. It doesn't stop. Then we can do what we choose to do and live as we choose to, in accordance with nature. So if the blockchain is designed to be immutable, what does immutable mean? It means to be unchanged and unalterable. And they do this by the blockchain replicating itself across many different nodes and validators. The validators are the big ones that these big blockchains have: Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of these bigger cryptocurrencies. They have validators that are chosen. In a real decentralized environment, there will not be validators. But between the validators and the nodes, it keeps track of all of the accounting or the data, the transactions that are occurring. And this creates an immutable environment that you cannot change because everything's constantly checking itself against these other nodes and validators. And it writes to all of them. It writes to it all. You can spin up your own node and be a part of that. if you would like. There's ones that you could actually get rewards off of by doing that, because you're assisting the health of the blockchain by having a node and making sure that it does not fall out of sync. Because if a blockchain falls out of sync, it's done. It's no longer useful. It's no longer serving its purpose. Which is why these larger blockchains have validators that are handed to these entities that will always be running. That's the idea, at least. That's the idea. So immutable is something that you cannot change. So an immutable ledger, triple entry accounting. No longer are you just working between two banks. Now it's decentralized. You just do the transaction with someone, and it goes out to all the nodes and starts checking to make sure that that transaction is a legitimate transaction on the block chain, and it's been put on there, and it confirms that transaction. So now it's not just two entities, it's the two entities doing the transaction plus the blockchain that's making sure that that transaction is legitimate. You will not be able to hide anything on the blockchain. The tracking technology that exists is scary. And the entities that have the computing power to be able to actually sift through that much data are these large corporations. Why do you think they're building all these AI farms? Microsoft, NVIDIA, Google, Amazon, Facebook, all of them. All these tech companies, I'm sure Apple is too, they just haven't said anything. All these tech companies are building AI farms of supercomputers, basically. These chips are giant that they are making to support the amount of processing power that is needed to really run these algorithms to sift through all this data and create outcomes, to actually make use of it. They're going to be able to know everything you are doing, because right now, those banks that you operate within, there are ways that these other entities could get that information, those privacy policies, though it is a lot less likely that an outside entity, unless it is sold to them in some way, shape, or form, is going to get that information, because it's actually within the bank itself. It's within their database. It's not how it's going to be anymore. Everything's going to be out on the blockchain. Everything's going to be on Ethereum. Everything's going to be on Cardano. All of your transactions. I don't just mean your financial transactions. I mean everything you are doing, every transactions, or let's look that up. What's a transaction? Transaction. What is trans? A negotiated agreement, management or settlement of an affair. So it's when you decide you're going to do something and then you do it. That's a transaction. Trans is movement. Action is the actual movement occurring, the act of it. And then shun is nothing more than whatever this word is, this prefix is, actually occurring. So to transact is to exchange some type of information in an agreeing way. And when you do anything, that's what you're doing. It's all a transaction. Me, my hand right now, that's me agreeing with myself, my body, that I'm going to wave my hand in the air in this way. It's a transaction. Me speaking right now, these words, I'm agreeing that I'm going to share these words with you of wisdom. It's a transaction. It's an agreement that I made with myself to put this video out. It's not just you going and buying something from the store. Not you going and getting some cucumbers. It's you also growing those cucumbers. That's a transaction with the earth, with nature. That's a transaction. You're putting your energy into this so that it can grow and provide you with nourishment. That's a transaction just as well. That's an even more sustainable transaction than you going and just purchasing it. Because now you're putting yourself into it. You're getting grounded, getting your hands in the soil, into the soul of things, and actually cultivating growth for yourself and for your kin. So we have to realize that these transactions are all going to be recorded on the blockchain, as it said right here. Blockchains can be used to make data in any industry immutable. Any industry. Industry. What is an industry? Cleverness or skill, activity, aptitude, experience. It is to be active. It's a systematic work. That's a good way to see it. Habitual diligence. A particular trade or manufacturer. All these industries are going to be using blockchain. All of them. And most people are operating within these industries not knowing what is actually going on. They're not even going to know this stuff is going to start to be recorded on the blockchain, which is public. That's the thing about blockchain, it's public. Unless it's a private blockchain. It could be a private blockchain. Though at that point, you're defeating the decentralization of it. So these corporations are going to use these public blockchains to store your data. Theirs won't be on here. They'll have their own. They do everything for themselves on a whole different level. Because they take care of themselves. And when I say they, I'm talking about less than 1% of the population. Everything else is going to be handled through public blockchains, and your information is all going to be out there. Even right now, me using Brave as my browser, what I'm on is out there. It's encrypted. You need my key to be able to get to it, but who makes this encryption? What do you think these supercomputers are going to be able to do when the NSA creates and puts out pretty much all of the cryptography that is used in the world? They're going to be able to break the encryption, no problem, because they have the computing power to do that, and they're going to be able to read your data that other people will not be able to do because they don't have that computing power. They don't have that resource or that tool because they're not this large, multi-billion, trillion-dollar entity that these corporations are. And they're going to be able to use that against you. It's going to be complete control. Complete control. So the blockchain is not good. Go make your money because it's not going anywhere. Definitely go make some money off of it. I'm not telling you to squander an opportunity in this crisis that is going on currently. This current story being told, there's plenty of opportunity for everyone to gain wealth in many ways. Many ways. We just have to be intelligent. We have to know what we're dealing with. Blockchain technology, we truly don't want it. We don't. Is it going to be stopped? We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what nature has to say about it. Though they put these validators in data centers that are supposed to be impervious to nuclear war and natural disasters. Can't stop the sun though. Can't. The sun decides that it wants to change the electromagnetic spectrum of this plane. It will all stop. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what the sun ends up doing. We'll see if Christ cometh. We don't want the blockchain. It is you are chained to the block. The block is representative of death. It has 4 corners. There's 4 of them. Once you start getting to 4, you can start building things, which is not good. It's not bad. So the block is used to contain you instead of it being used by you as a building source. They're using you as the building source, which puts you inside of a death cube, basically. The blockchain. They're chaining you to the block. They want to record everything about you. And they already do for a lot of it. But it's going to be in a way that they're going to be able to cross-reference all of this instantly. And the advertising, the marketing that is going to occur because of this is going to be on a whole nother level. People are going to put those VR goggles on and they're never coming out. That's going to happen one day if we keep heading down this path, because they're going to know exactly what they need to do to get you to walk down the path for you to make that decision on your own. Because if they can get you to become just a potato just sitting there that they can just keep siphoning energy out of while you frolic in a virtual environment that does not exist, doing things that do not exist in this actual plane, they've done what their end goal is, which is to have subservient control. It's to have complete control by your own choice, which they already have control right now by most people's choices, though it's not to that point yet to where they can get you to do anything at any moment. But that is what the blockchain is going to allow. Because it's going to allow them to see so much more data at such a rapid pace and instantly know what they need to do, what it needs to do. The algorithms will know exactly what to feed you, what that next post should be, to make sure that you click on it. Or maybe they don't want you to click on it. Maybe it's 3 posts down is when they actually want you to click on. They manipulate your mind through what you're seeing, so that because they know your eye movements, because they got cameras everywhere. They know how you're walking around your house because you have Wi-Fi. Did you know that AI can track you through your Wi-Fi and where you are in any location that has Wi-Fi? Did you know that? You're being tracked in so many ways. We all are. Only so that they can advertise to us. So that they can move us in a certain direction and control our mind and give us thoughts that are not ours, that we would never choose. But we get stuck on, we dwell on them because of FOMO. Because we don't want to be left out. Because we naturally operate in a cohesive community all together, and they're taking advantage of that very nature. That's how this is all even happening. They're simply taking advantage of natural laws that exist. We can do the same thing. I will leave it at that, though. That was a good stream. I would have liked to have done this without having the StreamYard logo up there, though. Like I said in the beginning, where's my cursor? Google was not letting me go live with their live platform itself. Was not working. I need to get OBS set up, though. I'm gonna get that set up probably tomorrow, actually, and then I can use that to go live and do everything I need to do on that. But for whatever reason, Google did not want me to use their service to go live or even save anything. I do want to say that I'm going to be making a new YouTube channel. I'm not going to tell anyone what it is or what it's even going to be about, but I just want to throw that out there, that I'm going to be making a new YouTube channel. It's going to be on things completely different than what's on this channel. It's going to be focused on a specific industry. I'll say that. If you can find it, if you're meant to see it, you will find it. That's really why I need to get OBS and things set up. I've already started preparing the art for it, but I need to get the actual tool set up so that I can get that rolling here in the next few months. And with that said, I will end this here. I know that if you watch this and you're listening to this up to this point, you learned something. You absolutely did, and you're taking knowledge out of this. Now you got to apply it. You got to be conscious. You got to be aware. You cannot be ignorant. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Let's show that real quick. What is it? What is bliss? Let's go back. Oh, it's kind. Kind is it's maybe that kind of. Bliss. It comes from bless. Is where this word comes from. To attain or exist in a state of perfect felicity. What's occurring when you're being blessed? When the pastor blesses you. That's exactly what they're doing. To be blissful, full of glory of heaven. You have been blessed by God. This is actually exactly what it is right here. From Middle English blessing. To consecrate by a religious rite, make holy, give thanks. To hallow with blood. Blood on you. The mark with blood. Did you understand that bless, when you say bless you, you're throwing blood on someone. That's what this comes from. It comes from the church, and they would bless you with blood, the blood of Christ, or whatever the sacrifice is for the day. You are blessed then, because they put the blood on you. They spray you or sprinkle you with the blood. The holy water. That is the true holy water. It's blood. It's the main fluid in your body that is used to transport or transact everything occurring within your body. That's why they use blood. Sprinkle it on you. Now they just use water that has been blessed by the pasture, the holy man. Which means that they've said a prayer over it, or they've prayed over it. What does it mean to pray? To prey on something, to be a predator, to draw blood. They prey on it, to open its wounds. They prey on that water. And now it's been blessed, and now they can use it in the same exact way through a ritualistic sense instead of the literal sense that it comes from of them literally putting blood on you. That is what bliss is. That is where bliss comes from. It is the same word. Bliss is bless. Ignorance is bliss. Because you are opening wounds and you are exposing yourself to being harmed. Blood sacrifice. That is what is going on when you live in bliss. Because you're aloof. You don't even know what's going on. You're blissful. Oh, God's going to save me. I'm going to heaven. You're already here. You're already here. That's why ignorance is bliss. Because ignorance is to not know something. And when you don't know something, you live in a blissful state of unknown. When you live in the unknown, you're afraid of death because you don't know what it is. Because you believe everything that you're told. It's not hard. This is simple. It's all simple stuff. It's not complicated. It's do you want to know, or would you rather continue being ignorant. We need to know, though. If we want to take control of our reality and potentially even this whole greater circle of community, communication, communion happening that occurs in our environment, we need to know. We need to be aware. We need to be conscious. We need to be vigilant. We need to speak the truth. We need to speak up. We need to let it out and tell people. Everyone have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you enjoy it. I know you enjoyed this stream, as I said. You made it this far. I know you enjoyed it. I know that you learned something and got something out of it. With that being said, maybe I'll do another live stream soon. Maybe I won't. It depends on how I feel and what I come across. If I feel that it's something that needs to be shared. If there are videos that someone would specifically want me to make on specific topics, let me know that I will do that. I will take requests and make videos based on what people would like me to do. So drop a comment, let me know, drop a comment, and let me know even how you feel about what I said here. Does this make sense to you? Did I miss anything that maybe could have made this more of a cohesive lesson on, I won't say lesson, cohesive experience on this knowledge? Let me know in the comments. Great seeing you too, Brandon. And whoever else is still here, have a wonderful, wonderful day. That's all there is. It's only the day. Only the day. And it never ends. It never ends.